In this video, we'll be seeing how to upload an image to the server using PHP API. This is the demo of what we are going to implement in this video. You can see that we are having the app open. If you click the choose image option, this is an image actually. So if you click here, it will open the gallery and you can select the image and it will replace the image and show the selected image. Now if you click the upload image button, it will get uploaded to the server and it will also get inserted to the database. We'll be seeing how to implement the API part using PHP. We'll be creating the API for uploading the file and also to read the data from the MySQL database and display it. So this is the demo of what we are going to do in this video. Here you can see I have created a new project with an empty activity. You can see the layout is empty, just having a text. You can remove this text and we have to place an image. First of all, let's make the parent layout to linear layout. Let's add an orientation to vertical. Now you have to add an image. So type image view. Now I have downloaded an image and placed it inside the drawable folder. You can see that this is the image. So first of all, we'll be placing this image here. And when we click this image view, it will open up the gallery. So we can select the actual image. Then when we select the image and click done, it will show the image to be uploaded in this same image view. So let's give the image name. Now let's give the height like 300. Now you can see the image view is there. Now let's give it an ID. Now you can add a button. This button will say like upload the image. And we have to give the button an ID. You can see that we have added an image view and a button. The image view has an image saying choose a file. And on the button, you can see upload image. Let's align it center. Okay, now we are done with the layout part. You can go to the main activity Java part. Here we have to create objects for image view and the button and set on click listener for both of them. So let's type image view equal to find view by ID r.id dot and the ID that we have given for the image, that is click to upload image. Now for the button. Now let's set an on click listener for the image view. For that, image view object dot set on click listener new on click listener. Okay, now we have set the on click listener for image view. Inside this, we have to create the intent for calling the gallery. So in order to launch the intent, you have to first create the on activity result function. So for that, let's go to the top and let's create an object for activity result launcher. Now you have to call the function register for activity result. Inside that, you have to pass new activity result contracts. Okay, after that, give a comma and pass the next parameter, that is new activity result callback. Yeah. Now you can give the semicolon here. Okay, now inside this on activity result function, you have to check if result dot get result code equal to activity result. Okay, activity dot result. Okay. Now if this is true, we have to create intent. Let's give the name for the object like data equal to result dot get data. Okay, now we have to get the URI. For that URI, okay, import the class. For importing the class, you have to click here and simply type alt enter. That's all. Data dot get data. Okay, now we can store this inside a bitmap. So we have to use this to transfer the data to the PHP API. For that, create an object for bitmap. Now come inside the function if condition and bitmap equal to media store dot images dot media dot get bitmap. So let's pass the first parameter, that is get content resolver, and pass the URI. Okay, now you can see an error here. So simply click on here and type alt plus enter. Now this will add a try catch around the call. So simply click here, surround with try catch. Now you can see this line is inside the try. Okay, now after this, you have to set the image view with the bitmap. For that, simply type image view, our object dot set bitmap, and inside that we can give the object for bitmap. After this, you have to scroll down and come to the on-click listener for the image view, and here you have to launch the intent. For that, activity result launcher, this is the object we created here. Okay, this one, launcher dot launch. Inside that, pass the intent. That's all. Now you can click run and check. You can see the app has launched. If you click on the image view, it will open up the gallery and you can see the images. So select one image. Now you can see the image view has been replaced by the selected image. Now you have to implement the on click for the button upload image. We haven't done it yet. So for that, let's close the emulator for now. Scroll down below the image view. Create an on click listener for the button. For that, button object for the button dot set on click listener, new on click listener. Now inside this, we have to convert the bitmap to a string. For that, we will have to encrypt it to a base 64 and store it as a string. Then we will have to send this to the API through Volley. So first of all, let's convert the bitmap to the string. For that, type byte array output stream, create the object, equal to new Now you have to check if the bitmap is empty or not. So if bitmap, the object that we have created, not equal to null. If the bitmap is not equal to null, you can convert the bitmap to a string. and do the rest of the activity. If it is null, you can type an else part here and just show some toast message and pass the message like something, select the image first. Okay, now you can see we have created a toast message if the bitmap value is null. Okay, now if it is not null, we have to convert the bitmap to string. For that, bitmap dot compress map. Let's set the format. Now pass the quality and now pass the object of array output stream. Now let's create an array of byte. Now let's convert the byte array output stream to arrays to byte array. Okay, now create a string, final string. Now this will be the string where we'll be storing the image in a base 64 encrypted version. Okay, for that let's name it like base 64 image equals base 64. So you have to select the android.util base64 class, not the java.util. Make sure you select the android.util base64, then dot encode to string. Now pass the bytes array and base 64 dot default. Now you are having the string version of the image. So now you have to pass it to the API. For that, you have to import a library, Volley. Now to know more about Google Volley, you can go to the YouTube channel called CC and you can see Google Volley Android get and post implementation. If you select this, you can see a blog post here. So we are going to the blog post. You can see the video and understand what's happening in Volley. I will not be explaining Volley in this video. So if you want to learn about Volley, you can see this video. I will give the link in the description so you can check that. So go to the blog post, scroll down and you can see the dependency here. So select the dependency and go to your project, Gradle scripts, and select the build Gradle, second one, and scroll down and paste the code here. Now click on Sing Now. Now we have added Volley to the project. You can close Gradle. You can close the Gradle file. Now let's go to the main activity. Here you have to make the post request using the Volley. For that, go to the blog post and scroll down. Make sure you added the permission for internet. We will add it now. You can scroll down and select the post request option. Okay, so simply copy this and go to your project. Paste the code that you copied here. Now we have to import all the classes. So simply click on the red area. This one is the class. You can see that it is showing a prompt to import with Alt plus Enter. See, we will be importing the class from com.android.volley and the class name is request queue. So click here and type Alt plus Enter. Do that for all the other classes. Okay, now we have imported all the classes. You can see this line is not needed. So remove this. And this line is also not needed. Now you can see an error here. in this part. So change this to get application context. Now that's all. Now you have to change the URL, this one, to the URL that we will be creating later on this video. So let's set it to empty. Now we have added the post request for Volley. Now how to pass this image that is in a string to the API URL, right? For that, we are having this part. So let's change this to image. So this is the field name, and the second one is the value. So value should be base64 image. So we'll be passing this as a post variable with the field name that is image. Okay. So now we have passed the image to the API. Now go to the onResponse method, and inside the function type if response equal to success. Now you can replace this with dot string. So simply click here and type alt enter. That's all. Now open the if condition. Now this means that we are returning a response, and we are checking if the response is equal to success. So we will have to create the API, and if the uploading of the image is successful, we will return a message success. Okay. So let's create a toast.makeText. Okay. Now inside the text part, we can give a message like image uploaded. Yes, that's all. And in the else part, you can create a toast message with the message like image uploading failed or failed to upload image. Now set the duration for the toast and dot show. That's all. You can see that both the toast messages are using different things, but they'll be passing the same context. We are passing the activity. Here also we'll be passing the same. So you can use get application context here as well. Here you can see on error response. So let's give a toast message if some error happens. For that, make toast dot make test, and let the error message will be like error, that is this variable which is returned from the Volley dot get localized message, and set the duration. Dot show. That's all. Now we have completed the Android part. You just have to give the URL of the API here. That's all what is remaining, and you are almost complete with the Android part. So before going to the API part, you have to go to the manifest and add the permission to access internet. Okay, this is very important. Uses permission internet. Type alt enter. You can see collapse empty tag. Now we'll be most probably using an HTTP URL instead of HTTPS, since we'll be implementing this on a local server. So in order to allow HTTP, you have to add a line that is clear text traffic. Use clear text traffic and set this to true. Okay, that's all. Now you can close the manifest part. Yes, now we are almost complete. You just have to give the URL of the API here. So let's go to the API part. For creating the PHP API, I have created a folder and opened it inside PHP Storm. You can see this. And I have created a file, upload.php. I also have XAMPP installed and running. Apache is started and MySQL is also started. And that's all. Now let's minimize the XAMPP. Now you have to check if the image is being sent. So we are sending it as a post request. So let's start the PHP and let's create an if condition. If not empty of dollar post of image. Now let's open the if condition. Yeah. Now this image is the name that we have used in the Android params field. I will show you. Go to the Android project and you can scroll down and you can see here params field. See, we are having a function get params, and inside there we are having images. We are sending the images with the field images, and we are sending the value that is the string version of the image. Okay, so this is the name that you should use on the PHP part. So let's go to the PHP part. So you understand what this name is. Now, if we are having this string, you can proceed with the uploading of the file. For that, let's create another if condition. If now you have to write this base64 string to a file. For that, you can use file put content. And inside that, the first parameter will be the file name. So let's create a file name with date. So the format of the date will be like date, month, and year. Then let's give some time. So let's add the time function. Now let's also add some random number in order to make this file name random always. Otherwise it will override the previous file. Let's add a random number also. For that, call the rand function and let's set the minimum to 10,000 and let's set maximum something like this. Okay, now let's set the extension of the image. Let's set it to JPG. Now we have set the first parameter. Now we have to decode the base64 string. For that, base64 decode. Now let's hit the enter. And inside the base64 decode, you have to pass the post variable image. Okay, let's open the if condition. Now let's see what we have typed so far. Here you are having the file name. So this much is the file name. So the file name contains the date, timestamp, and a random number. Then the extension. That's all. Now we'll be decoding the base64 string that we sent from the Android, and we'll be putting the content to this file name. That's all. If this returns true, let's echo success. Now you have to make sure that the success message is the same as that you have typed in the Android part. I will show you this one. Okay, on response, you can see that response equals success. You have to make sure that the message is exactly the same. You have to make sure there's no capital letters. So make sure that the string is exactly matching to that of the PHP API and this part. Okay, so that's that. Now if the uploading is failed, you can give an else part, echo failed to upload image. And here you can type an else part like echo no image found. So our PHP part is also complete. But if you want to insert the data to MySQL, we have to do something else also. So let's try running this part. Okay. So go to the Android. Now we have to give the API URL here. Open command prompt. Okay, now you can see I have opened the command prompt. Let's type ipconfig and hit enter. Now you'll get the IPv4 address for the wireless LAN connection. So copy this address. Now this keeps on changing. So make sure you check all the time when you run the application. So let's copy this and add this here like http:// and then the IP address. Now you have to go to the PHP part. Here you can see that I have placed the files inside the SAMP htdocs folder. So let's open this in Explorer. Here you can see the location of the file, that is C SAMP htdocs, and the folder name, that is upload image Android. So let's copy the folder name only, upload image Android. So let's copy that. You have to make sure that you place the folder exactly on the htdocs folder, otherwise this will not work. And copy the folder name and go to the Android part and come here, give a slash and paste this here. Now you are having the folder name slash your file name. So our file name is upload.php. That's all. So this is our API URL. Okay. If you want to test this, whether this is working or not, simply copy this URL and run this inside a browser. I will show you. You can see that I have run the URL inside a browser and you can see image not found error. So that's it. You can test the URL like this. Okay, now close this and go to the Android. Now you can run the application on the emulator and check. You have to make sure that the SAMP is running and Apache MySQL is also running. Okay, now the app is open. Let's select the image and let's click the upload image button. You can see the toast message, image uploaded. See, you can go to the PHP. Okay, now here you can see a new file. See, with the date and a timestamp, then a random number. See, if you click this image, you can see that the file that we uploaded is here. So hope you understand how to upload the image. Now, if you want to place this inside a folder, you can simply create a new folder like images. Then you have to give the folder name here. Just add the folder name like images and give a slash. Okay, like this. Don't give a slash before, just give a slash after the images. Okay, that's all. Now this will save the file to this images folder. Okay, let's delete this one that we have uploaded right now and we can test this once more. You can see the image is already selected. Let's click upload and yeah, it will be uploaded. You can see the images folder is having something. Open this and you can see the image uploaded. See, that's all. So let's see how to add this image path to the database. So for that, let's create a database. Open SAMP and click on admin. Now this will open the PHP MyAdmin panel. Click on new database and you can give the name of the database. I have given the name of the database like upload image. Now let's click on create. You can see the database is created. Now let's create a table. Let's name the table images. I have named the table images. Let's give the number of columns like 2. We only need 2 columns, one for the ID and one for the image path. So click create. You can add as much as columns as you want. You can add it here also. Here is an option for that. So I am only using 2 for now in this video. So let's give the first one ID and let's make it a primary key. You can see on the index, click primary key and click go. And also make this auto increment. You can see in the side AI, check this mark. And let's give the name for the second one like path. Okay, now let's make this type as text. That's all. Now you can save this. That's all. We are having a table with ID and path. Now you can go to the API. Here we have to connect to the database first. Create a variable $con equals MySQL connect. Now we have to pass the first parameter, that is the server name. We are using the local host, so type local host. This is a string, so give quotes. Now the second parameter will be the username of the database. So by default SAMP is having the username root, and we have to pass the next one, that is password. So by default the SAMP username and password is root and password is empty, so I am using that. And now we have to give the name of the database. So we are having the name as upload underscore image. Give the semicolon, enter. So now we are connected to the database. So you can check if the database connection is successful, like if $con. If connection is successful, we can execute all this. Otherwise, close the if condition here and give an else part. Echo like database connection failed. That's it. Okay. Now we have connected to the database. Now you have to insert the path to the table. So after uploading the file to the location, you can do that inside here. So let's create an SQL query, $SQL. Now type the SQL query, insert into table name. So the table name here is images. Now let's specify the fields. We are only having one field. You don't have to enter the ID. It is automatically entered. So let's add the second field, that is path. Now outside this, give the values. Now let's give the value of the path here. So for that, you have to close the parenthesis and give an dot, 2 dot here. And let's give the path. For giving the path here, you have to copy this line, okay, from here to here, okay, this much, and cut it from there, okay. And let's create a variable like path equal to, then give this. Now specify the variable path here, $path. Okay. Now you can use the same variable here also. Okay. Hope you understand why I did this. Now you have to give a semicolon here. So our SQL query is ready. So now let's run this SQL query. For that, you can type if MySQL underscore query. Now we have to pass two parameters. The first one is the connection variable, that is $CON. And the second parameter is the SQL query. We are having the variable $SQL for that. So if this query is successful, it will return true. Otherwise, it will return false. Okay. So if the query is successful, it will return a value. If it is false, it will return false. So let's echo success inside this if condition. Okay. Now give an else part for this. Echo failed to insert to database. Okay. Hope you understand. Now that's all. Now we are done with the API part also. This will upload the file to the location first. Then it will insert the path to the database. Then it will echo success. Okay. That's it. Now let's try running this. Go to the Android Studio. Okay, now you can try running this. Select the image. I have selected the image. We are having the same image. So let's click on upload image. You can see failed to upload image. Okay. So let's see what's happening. Go to the API. So here you can see in the SQL query, we are having a small mistake. You just have to add a quote here and you have to close it here. That was the error. That's all. So let's try running this again. So you can see that the app is open and we have selected the image. Let's try clicking the upload image. You can see the toes has shown image uploaded. So let's go to the PHP Storm folder. Here you can see a new file is added. Let's go to the browser and check our database. Let's refresh this and you can see the path here. See, we are having the path of the new image. So this is our new image. So let's go to the PHP Storm and you can see this is the image. See? Okay. So that's all on how to upload an image to the server and save the path to the MySQL database. Now, if you wish to download the full source code of this video, the API part and the Android part, also the database, you can download it from this. I will give the link to this on the description. Right now I haven't uploaded it. I will upload it and you can see it on the first page. I will give the exact link to download it. So you can check the description and download the full source code if you want to download it. Let's see how to read this from the MySQL database and print the image. I will show it quickly. So let's create a new file like read.php. So let's copy this line this much and paste it here. Open the PHP tag first and let's paste it here. Okay, now we are connected to the database inside here. Okay, now you have to create an SQL query to read all the content in the table. So that will be like $SQL equal to select star from table name. Okay, star from images. That's all. Now this will return all the values from the table images. Now you have to run this SQL query. For that, you have to create a variable $result. You have to create a new variable result because this one will return values. Previously, we did an insert query, so we don't have to read this to a variable. So that's why we did it like this. Okay. So in this case, we have to store this to a variable. So let's type MySQL query $con connection variable, then the SQL. Okay, now you have to loop through each result and access the rows. Now for that, type while $row equal to MySQL fetch associative array. So we are fetching each row as an associative array. Okay, so you will get each row in this variable. Okay, each row means, I will explain that. Go to the PHP myadmin. Each row means this is one row, and if you having any other data, let's copy this and let's click this. Okay, now you can see we are having two rows. See, now this is one row and this is another row. Okay, that's all. Okay, now go to PHP Storm. So you are getting each row in this variable. Okay, and each row as associative array. Okay, you have to pass the result variable here. Okay, I forgot to do that. So that's why we are storing this inside this variable to pass it here. Okay, now you are having each rows, right? So let's try printing each values. So echo $row of, we are having two items in the table, right? Two columns. Okay, one is ID, that is the ID of the table, and it will be automatically incrementing. And the second one is $row of path. Second one is the path. You can see these two items. I will show you here. You can see the ID and path. If you go to structure, you can see ID and path. Okay, go to PHP Storm. Okay, now that's all. Let's try running this. So go to the browser. Okay, now I have opened this inside the browser. You can see I have typed the API URL here with the IP address, and you can see the result. Okay, you can see that first result is this much. Okay, you can see the ID, then the path, this much. Okay, then the second ID, that is 2, and the second one's path. Okay, so let's try printing this in HTML for now. For that, open PHP Storm. You can remove the ID one because you don't need the ID, right? And you can create an HTML here. And let's create an image tag, img src equal to dot. You have to open the src here. Okay, and let's close the image, and inside that you have to set the width and height. Width equal to like 400 pixel, and height, let's don't set the height, let it be automatic. Okay, that's all. Now let's try this running. Now here you can see two images, right? One after another. See, now we are having the same images. That's why it's showing the same images. So now that's all. Hope you understand how to implement this. Now we have seen how to select the image and upload it to the server, and also register the path to MySQL database. We have also seen how to read the image from the database. So that's all. Now, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more such videos.